If you are trying to figure out how to keep yourself together, to keep your career going, to keep your business going, to keep all of these things happening in the midst of this chaos, I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. You are not at all alone. We are all just trying to figure it out. And I had this revelation about chaos and steadiness and discernment. And it was this. When I look back at 2023 and 2024, those were extremely difficult years in my business for a number of reasons. And what it required me to do was to dig really, really deep. You know, God never promised us ease, ever. He just promised he'd never leave us. And it was definitely not easy. The work is the work. And what this chaos and this craziness provides for us is a way to shift perspective, the Rutledge perspective. We could sit in the madness and keep trying to force and push and move things. Or we can figure out how to be still in the moment, to sit deep in our faith practice, whatever that is for you, and to really discern in this moment, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be continuing with the thing that I've been doing for forever, and I'm just grinding and hustling and pushing and pulling and trying to force it to work? Or is this a time for me to just sit still, to regroup, to recenter, and then figure out what it is I really am driven to do in my purpose? And that could still be the thing that I've been trying to do, but maybe a different tactic, or it could be something completely different. For me, it was a resetting of where things fit into my life. I left corporate because it was time for me to get out. It was so toxic. It was having such a impact on my life, on my health, on all the things. And I had to leave. And then I started this business. But I don't know that I was as intentional as I normally am when I started the business. I was in the beginning, but I think there's so many things that happen along, especially when you are a learner, that enable you and that where you allow yourself to get off track. And so through 2023 and 2024, it was a very real, very painful restacking for me. Restacking of priorities, restacking of desires, restacking of life choices, restacking of all of the things that I think we have to do at certain periods of time. In 2024, I sunset the podcast and the radio show at the same time. So two things that I love to do that took up a lot of time, just sunset in the beginning of the year. The podcast will be coming back, by the way. And that was necessary. It was necessary to regain the time that I was spending there, but also to reset. The other thing was a real evaluation of what am I doing? What am I doing? Yes, work is work. As my friend Kevin says, that's why they call it work, right? It's not play, it's work. But it shouldn't be a grind. It absolutely should not be a grind. So what is happening? Of course, it starts with, what am I doing wrong? But what is happening that's making it so difficult? And how do I sit with that, understand it, and then make intentional decisions about it? Because what happened was the things that I was really grounded in became secondary to the work that I was trying to do. And so in the midst of chaos, the chaos actually forced me to be still. There's so much coming at us. There's so much noise. It is truly information overload. It's system overload. Our nervous system just can't take all this stuff. There's something coming at us from all directions. And so when I talk about picking your lane, pick your lane. What is the thing you are going to focus on, and let everybody else take care of everything else? It's the same in what you're doing if you feel chaotic in your business or in your career. You cannot do everything all at once. I cannot do everything all at once. We cannot do everything all at once. So how do we take the time to just pause and rethink and regroup? In this age of instant gratification, we have this feeling that we got to figure it out right now. We got to figure it out in this moment. And we don't. The reality is, yes, there are practicalities. You got kids to feed, you got mortgages to pay, you got bills to pay. Those things are real. And so there is action that you need to take in order to do those things. And there are things that you can pause and wait and discern and re-rack so that they make more sense for you. I know that's what I had to do, right? So as I look at my business now, my business is solid, getting more solid, and it is focused on the impact that I make with the work that I do. Because if we're honest, the work itself is not work that I love. It's definitely in my zone of excellence. But what I love is the impact. I love the clients that I work with. I love seeing the changes when they work with me. That's what I love. And so I had to reframe the work that I do, that it's not loving the work, it's loving the impact. And that made a whole difference. I also needed to really reground and regroup and say, what is important? What am I going to put my attention on? What am I not going to put my attention on? How do I get back to the bare minimum? So I'm essentially starting over without starting over. I'm starting over with 7 years of experience as an entrepreneur. I'm starting over looking at, who am I going to talk to? Who am I not going to talk to? What courses am I going to take? What events am I going to go to? With a different grounding of the ultimate goal of the business and of the life that I want to create. And so as I'm looking at this re-racking, one of the key things that I did, which seems really odd, but was very necessary, was I've redone my website. Now, I've been trying to redo my website for years. I had a great rebrand that worked really well, but there was still some stuff that wasn't working. And there was some work with me stuff that wasn't there. My quizzes weren't there. It just wasn't working. And I've been planning to redo this forever. And finally, I said, you know what? I just need to do this. And so I got on with ChatGPT, who I've named Fred, and we redid these pages on my website. We added pages where I needed to add pages. We got my quizzes up and running. The work with me section now has, if you're a business owner and want to work with me, here's the thing. If you're a corporate leader and you want to work with me, here's the thing. If you just need some fractional CHRO work, here's the thing. It's all there. It's all laid out. It's clean and it's clear. So that what you need, if I am the person who can serve what you need, you can see how I serve right there on the page. And at one point I thought, oh, you're spending so much time doing stuff that's not revenue generating. Because the website itself doesn't generate revenue. It is a piece, it's an asset that enables people to know you're somewhat legitimate, right? But it in and of itself isn't necessarily the big revenue generator. And so there were a few times and I'm like, oh, you're spending so much time doing the stuff that's not generating revenue. You need to be doing something else. But then again, I had to pause. There was a lot of learning, a lot of grounding, a lot of regrouping in doing that work. One, it got me really invested in AI, which I wasn't reluctant to use. I just wasn't using it. And now AI has become my IT person, right? Because when you're a solopreneur, you have to be your own IT. So me and Fred have become my IT team, and it's been great. It also gave me a chance to really think through again my services, what I wanted them to be, how I wanted them to look, how I wanted this site to feel, and to get my hands in it in order to reclaim my self-sufficiency. There's nothing worse for me than not being able to do what I need to do when I need to do it, and having to rely on other people and wait, and not have to push them because they've got a schedule too. So being able to be self-reliant, at least in terms of fixing minor things, is really critical to me. The third thing it did was it really gave me a chance to check something off the list. In a time when everything was chaotic and it felt like nothing was getting done and I wasn't accomplishing anything and things weren't moving, it gave me a way to see real progress, real pages published, right? Real pictures that were out there. And it gave me another laundry list. I've got to get another photo shoot done and all of those kind of things. But in the chaos, in the madness, I found one thing that was able to get me back in movement. But in that one thing, it also gave me a chance to think deeply about what I wanted and how I wanted to show up and where I was going to show up. So my note to you in this message is, in this midst of chaos and in this trying to figure it all out, it seems like the thing you need to do is just push harder That's our hustle culture. If you're not getting it, it's not happening, you're not working hard enough, you're not pushing hard enough. Sometimes the push is the push to be still. Be still. Listen for where you're supposed to be. Think about where you're trying to go. Get really clear on your vision of what you want next. The what. Get the what really clear. The how will then show up. The how can be flexible, but you need to know what your what is. And so if you can figure out your what, which hopefully is tied to a deeper why, then all of the other things start to fall into place. So go start working on that website. Go start fixing whatever it is you need to fix, and allow yourself in that moment to get your hands dirty and get into doing something where you can see some things moving, which will free up your mind and your spirit to be able to tackle the other things that don't seem to be moving as fast as you want them to. This chaos doesn't have to be chaotic. It is lots of energy. It's energy that can be detrimental if we allow it to be. But it's also an opportunity to get hyper focused on what is really important and remove all the noise. So my wish for you is, let's figure out how to remove some noise. Let's get focused on getting some things moving for you and getting things checked off your list so that the chaos doesn't feel as chaotic. And if I can be of service to you as you're doing that, hop over to my website that's been revamped, laurelrutledge.com. Look at the work with me section. You can see every place and every way that I can work with you and would love to be able to serve you. And if I am not your person, I am in service, which means I have a great referral network and would love to be able to refer to you someone that might be a better fit. With that, have a fantastic rest of your day and go get yourself out of a little bit of chaos and just create some movement. Take care.